Whippoorwill Club is our first applicant.
Yeah, good evening to the members of the ARB. Tom, good to see you. My name is Jim Ryan. I'm representing Whippoorwill Club. Also online, and the project manager from JMC. The board recalls at the last meeting, you required and requested additional information of this pergola system relative to the existing building. So with your permission, we'll share a screen. Richard Cordone would like to share a screen. Show you what the exhibits that we had provided the board with. Richard?
Good evening, everyone.
So just as a reminder, this is going over an existing terrace area. The club has been looking at this for a number of years. We seasonally put in a tent to provide that cover during the primary seasons of the club. And the club felt there was a better way, a more attractive way of dealing with this. So this is located on the north side of the building. Richard, next screen. So just again, a reminder, it's on the north side of the building. So it's getting sun midday, late morning, midday, and then through the summer. So it gets to be a pretty hot area of the site. So the next picture, Richard. So what we did is the board wanted to understand a little bit better relative to the existing building where this is going to go. So we took some photographs of this side of the building, and Richard will show you. We did a representation of what the pergola system will be. It's going to be under the eave system, so it's extruded aluminum and steel structure, pretty substantial structure. It's a louvered system, has special sensors on it too for rain, snow, ice, wind. It's all programmable, but essentially it's going to be covering this area of the building. So it would be under that existing eave, and the supports essentially fall between those doors, those primary doors that we have. All of those doors are operational. Richard, if you can go to the next one. We just did a little bit of a side view too. Again, these are current pictures, and just to give the board an idea of what this is going to look like. Richard, if you go to the next one. So essentially, that's kind of the look. Again, it's a white structure. They like the club liked the white structure on that, it's got a gutter system. There's lighting underneath. It's in the channels, so they're looking essentially straight down. Like I said, has a gutter system built into it, and it's a louver system that's can be manually operated, but it's also programmable with special sensors that it has. So
it's not attached to the building.
It's not attached directly to the building, but it does fit underneath the building with the supports, underneath the overhang.
Are the columns really centered between the glazing? Because it doesn't look like it here.
Yeah, well, we did our best. The company that's providing this is, we did our best to use what they had given us too, but they do center on, on the areas between the molding on the doors.
And how about, can you go to the side elevation? Also, is it going to be centered in the gray paint band? Is there a reference point somewhere?
Yeah, so again, it showed better on the straight on view, but it's in where the building turns because there's a covered area there. So it is all underneath and centered, again, designed to keep those areas of the doorway completely clear.
But is it tight? Here it just looks like it's, where the white trim and the gray siding is, it looks like it's just haphazardly thrown against it.
Well, no, it's not haphazard. Again, we had a week to put this together. We're doing our best to depict. I think, Richard, go to the forward view of it again.
It doesn't. It looks like it sits about 3 or 4 feet from the building, right? The first set of posts.
No, they're actually, Richard, go to the site plan. They're actually, the posts are centered, and they're right at the. You can see the Richard. Zoom in on that. So this was right from their structural drawings that they gave us. So again, it fits right on the building. You can see a dashed line where the overhang is. So it sits underneath that overhang.
So, so the posts virtually touch the siding?
They don't, there's a small gap there too. So it's not actually connected to the building.
How big is the gap?
I'm not sure of that. Richard, do you know?
I do not. I do not.
So is there a reason, I mean, I guess you're trying to maximize the post spacing from the building all the way to the
Yes.
edge of the terrace?
Yes.
Is there any reason why you wouldn't pull it away from the building at least 2 feet so you can actually paint back there? Because you have an overhang that looks like it's about 4 feet.
Yeah.
Because I just think it's I think it's a logistical problem if you put a
Yeah.
metal post 2,
Well,
3 inches
it's
away from
something
siding.
I can discuss with them. We have a meeting tomorrow with the provider on
And
the
you
actual.
also have sconces between the triple openings. That doesn't work with this.
Yeah, I know they factored all that in. I don't know all the details. I did try to get somebody from the manufacturer on the line, but it couldn't do that. But
And is
I
it
know
secure?
that's designed to fit specifically for this. They took a lot of detailed measurements of this too. To
Yeah,
try to.
but-
And are the posts secured? How are they? Is it
I'm not
secured
sure.
to the ground at all?
They're
Yeah,
secured to the
so what you're
yes.
seeing in there is there are footings for those interior, the
So those
outside posts.
blocks are
Yeah,
footings,
the
okay.
outside posts are flanged, so they're actually just secured into the existing terrace area, but there are footings that are required. So these are the footing locations, those boxes that you see.
I mean, conceptually, I'm fine with this modern structure
Mhm.
against this building. I think the detailing of it when it comes up against the house, nobody's really thought about that. I mean,
Mhm.
you're talking with the pergola people and all they do is make pergolas. And there's nobody to kind of marry the two together.
Well, I mean, these are things that I can discuss, be prepared to discuss tomorrow with them. But I know that they had a detailed presentation to the club on how it would look, and there's a number of architects that are part of the club that really like what's happening here. So
Well,
I would hope that the board would consider that they've spent a lot of time working out those kind of details. I know that your board has to look at the this relative to the building and so on too.
but
But
that's kind of what we expected to see. How come we can't, can you pull up those drawings?
And we want to see those details, and there's no architect on the project, so.
there's no architect involved in this. It is the provider, the pergola, and it is the club that's working very closely with the provider.
Right. But I'm okay with the structure itself. I mean, you did do an effort to depict it correctly, but I just don't understand, what's nice about it. It's a completely different kind of structure to the building. So it should, if it can, set apart from it.
Right.
If it was going to intersect with the building, it should do it in an interesting way, not just put posts up against the building. I think that's not correct. And I don't think you would have drawings to show what happens to the sconces. Are they exactly centered between those triple openings? And things like that.
I'm told that they're centered on that, but again,
Yeah, so somebody should have a drawing of that, and I'm surprised you don't.
well, we have the drawings that were submitted to Mr. DePaul, detailing the construction of this. But again, when we were here last time, those weren't specific. They showed, essentially a flat wall. They
Right.
didn't show it relative to the building. So I understood why your board was looking for that too.
Right.
But again,
So
there'll be a lot of attention. This club spends a lot of time on the details. I don't have anything more to present to you. I was hope that the board would accept this, and we would work through the details with the manufacturer and the provider. Obviously, again, we spend a lot of time as a club, and I'm on their construction committee, working through the fine details. There's a lot of people involved in this. So I'm sure all of what you're asking for has been considered.
We just usually see the details at this stage.
You're asking us to approve something that we're not seeing.
Right. And then, you've got a good,
But we're as a club, we're seeing it. We want it to look nice. Again,
But we want you to show it to this board. This board has a function. This board's purpose is to review.
the construction
Yeah.
of it.
And the building department also wants to understand what they're going to be
Well,
inspecting.
But we have submitted that, and Tom could talk to that, but we've submitted the details of this and the structure. There are working drawings that have been provided to Mr. DePaul's office.
right, but is that just of the pergola?
It's of the pergola. Yes.
So I think what's missing is what's between the existing buildings, openings, and your pergola. Because right now you have an overhang that's 4 foot over your expensive operable pergola, not doing much of any good.
Right.
So I don't see something. And two, just aesthetically, I think if it's this unique structure that's sort of apart from that,
Mhm.
I think it should sit apart. I don't think it should be slammed up against it 2 inches, 6 inches even. I mean, if it's 2 or 3 inches and leaves start to get caught in there, or they repaint the building, somebody's not going to be able to get back there. I guess the sconces are being taken out. But I kind of would expect to see that somewhere on a drawing. So my stance is I like the pergola, I like the idea of it, but you're not depicting what it's actually doing near the building.
I feel the same way. I don't have an issue with the design intent, but I would like to see you present the missing
Well,
information.
I mean, I'm respectfully, we will be working through the details. Is it your board's opinion that without the construction details and how it meets the building, that you can't take action on this?
Yeah, it's not even a construction detail. It's the layout.
It's the way it looks,
It's
the
a
way it
design.
appears.
Construction
Yeah, again, I understand that, but we're trying to move forward with this season. And, even another 2-week delay is going to be problematic for this. If I can, if the board can move this forward, and I'll provide those details. And if you have any objection once I do it, because I'll have a meeting tomorrow with the pergola people, I can get all of those details to you. And if there's any objection, then I'll come back.
Tom, if he came back next week with the details, is that going to hold up a building permit? Is he going to have a building permit in 2 weeks?
They realistically could have a building permit in 2 weeks, yes. The last stage of this is the ARB.
I mean, I don't know if it's protocol, but I'm willing to look at something in between if everybody can agree to that.
Yes.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah, I am too, but we'd like to see something. You're asking us again
It's not
to prove
protocol,
things
but-
that we're not looking at.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't want to see posts slammed up against the building. If you just show that, then I'm just going to say I don't want, it's
Well, I know, Richard is my associate, is taking notes on this too. And I do have a meeting both with the provider and with the club construction committee tomorrow.
right.
So I'll have that stuff within a week. And again, I'd like to at least move this forward. There's time constraints here, trying to get it in this season as well.
Okay. Well, you hear we're trying to accommodate you.
I do, and I appreciate that.
But I think it should be a separate structure that doesn't really touch or appear to touch the building.
Okay.
That's my stance.
Okay.
So what are we saying, people? Are we waiting to see these details before we approve it?
Well, I guess Tom,
Yeah, I think we are, but because they can't get a permit anyway for 2 weeks, right, Tom?
Well, they can get a permit as soon as the ARB signs off. That's the last stage of this process.
Yes, but does that take, so it's sign off then 2 weeks
If you
or?
were to agree tonight,
Uh-huh.
then they could have a building permit most likely by Monday or Tuesday
Oh, okay.
of next week.
of next week.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh.
This was the last
So
stage in the process, and they missed a meeting. So this is what pushed it out a little bit further.
Oh, they missed the last meeting.
If the
that
board
what you're
would
saying?
be, if the board would be amiable and Mr. Ryan can send the documents to me and I forward them to the board early next week, middle of the week, and then possibly if there's a consensus, then we can give approval and issue the building permit by the end of next week.
Okay,
And so I
That's
think what we're
fine.
saying is that we're not approving it tonight, but we're going to try to do an approval in between
Yeah.
meetings. Are we allowed to do that?
Yeah, we've never done that before, but
Well, yes, you have, if I might interrupt.
have we?
We've done
Oh, okay.
conditional approvals with the changes to the plans. And I think we just did it recently where we had an applicant give information to us and Daisy distributed it. Now, Daisy, if it's all right with you, I will take point on this and deal with Jim and getting this to the board.
All right,
I'm
but-
okay with that.
All right, I'm okay with that, but I empower you. Give us good information. If you give us stuff that doesn't tell the story, you're not going to get it approved.
No, and I fully understand that too. My first step is to get one of the architects that's on the committee to start to draw up some of the details that you're looking for and be able to explain, how this fits in relative to the building and underneath that existing structure. And some of the issues you brought up about, how do you do maintenance too? Is it going to butt up? Are you going to detail it as it hits the building? Or are you going to separate it? Those are good questions.
So
I'm gonna talk
what
to
I'd
them.
like to see is a section from the building, from the left and right to this drawing,
Okay, we can do that.
which if you had it tonight, we would have been able to
Okay.
respond to it.
Okay, and that I will have to Tom post haste.
Okay.
All right, Claudia, Brendan, Joe, you guys good with this?
yes.
Yeah, I
I like
agree.
it.
I agree. I think the interaction and those sections should give us a clear story about how the building and the new awning interacts.
Okay, that's what we will do.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Appreciate your time.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good night.
Yep.
Right.
Okay, the next application is a return 84 Campfire Road. We have Pamela Fishman.
Yes, here.
How are you?
Good.
Paul Fish.
I'm Paul Fishman, sorry.
Were
Are
you
you
architect?
going to be, do you have an architect with you or are you going to be presenting?
Yes.
We have the architect with us.
Yes, the
Okay.
architect is here.
Hi, are you able to share your screen?
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
Me. Start off whenever you're good. So here we go. First off, to begin with the site plan and where the house is located currently. This is images of the house right now, front. And as we walk around, left side, rear, right rear, right side, and the right side itself. So I know that you guys had questions previously in regards to how the connection was up here.
Yes.
To the new roof that's being attached. So in the following drawings, you'll see, and then if you guys have questions, feel free to ask. Okay. Hi, sorry. So, as you may know, what we are looking to do in this is to add a front porch. We are going to add 2 new roofs. In regards to that roof that you guys had questioned before, the plan is to extend the current roof so that it meets the new one. Let me show you the side elevation in the section. So hopefully that'll clear up any inquiries you guys might have. So it'll be just like this one right here. So the connection is that this is the existing, if you remember from the images, and the roof will continue itself up and then connect to a to the new one, to the new gable there. And then in the section right here, this is how the connection will work. And then we also have a couple typical details in regards to the gable end walls and such.
So you weren't showing this last time. You really
Correct. So
didn't,
yes, all of the stuff that's highlighted and bubbled in here is the new stuff that I incorporated based off of your guys' comments from the previous
well,
meeting.
I mean, it wasn't figured out on the first set of drawings.
Yeah, it wasn't clear and it wasn't
Well,
really.
it wasn't figured, no, it was clear you were missing an idea of what you were gonna do.
Yes, correct.
So-
So then after taking all your guys' comments into consideration, we tried to tweak and make sure everything made sense in regards to how that connection is for that new gable roof.
Right, so basically you're putting a clip gable on that. Personally, I find that bizarre. You don't see clip gables that often, and when you do, it's a theme around a house. I feel, and to be constructive, since you're doing 2 overbuilds, why not extend that over to the roof to the right and build a smaller overbuild so that you have a consistent theme around the house, especially if you're doing this, you're adding overbuilds around the house. Why not, don't introduce a clip gable, bring that ridge over to the right. You don't have to bring it all the way to the rear elevation. And unfortunately, you're missing your complete side elevation. Correct. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going with that ridge.
Mm-hmm.
And bring it down on the rear slope at some point. And how far? No, I would say further. But I can't tell because you're missing. Do you have the rear elevation?
No, we didn't do it because we didn't believe it was going to be necessary because the only thing you'd really see is just this little peak.
Right. Well, we'd like to see whatever addition modifications you're doing in relation to the whole house.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell right away that that clip gable is just completely bizarre to me. I would bring an overbuild to the rear of that roof.
Mm-hmm.
And don't bring it all the way to the rear of that facade, but at some point, bring it down. At what point, I don't know, because you haven't drawn it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm worried about, and as I was worried about on the first set of drawings, is the builder was going to wing it from your first set of drawings, and you didn't know what you were going to get. So in this case, if you do agree with my suggestion of an overbuild on the back, even a partial overbuild, that you draw it correctly so everybody knows exactly what it's going to look like.
Uh-huh.
You want to pull
that's
up
no
the
problem.
photograph of the rear and you could draw on it now. Let's make sure we're talking about the same thing. You guys pull up the photograph. I saw there was a. You have a flat elevation photograph? I thought that was one.
That's the back.
Oh, the side, my apologies. There we go.
Right. So you would have an overbuild on the front because you're doing this giant, and you're doing it for aesthetics, right? I think
Yeah.
there's no other reason to do it. So
Bring it all the
aesthetically,
way
I
to the
think you
back.
take that same theme and you bring it around to the back. But I wouldn't bring it all the way back to the back facade. I'd bring it at some point down, and I'm not sure what that point would be.
Uh-huh.
It reaches the ridge.
Oh, you'll have a similar massing as you have on the front end. On the back.
Yes, and then you've got a gable on the back, and you've got a gable. You've introduced another gable, and again, it's purely aesthetics that you're doing. And I think it would be wrong not to have a consistent theme around the house. And then, we don't like bizarre details coming out of nowhere.
Anybody else have comments? Great. I agree with Stanley.
Yeah, I agree.
No. No other comments.
Yeah.
I am saying.
Over top of that. Okay.
So I don't know if the true pitches of the roof are accurately drawn, but obviously you need to know that to see how that intersects with the back roof.
Uh-huh.
And then we'll need the full elevations next time.
You need to draw 4 full flat elevations, all 4 sides.
Okay,
Okay.
so go to the actual plans.
And then to me, the house would seem more cohesive with what you're doing on the front.
And update your roof plan for the whole house, not just cut it, get the whole.
Yeah.
Right. So even your roof plan is not correct. You're showing that rear roof continuing way beyond the main body of the house, which we know it doesn't do that.
This ridge is actually there.
Yes, that's where it should be, somewhere around there.
So draw that and draw the line up. Oops.
All right, we don't need to,
Yeah, sorry.
yeah, we're not going to approve this tonight, but
Mhm.
it needs to be correct and accurate because we can read the drawings and we can tell when they're wrong.
Okay, so you'll be on, when's the next meeting, Daisy? 2 weeks?
The next meeting is August 3rd, so we'll need the revised PDF and physical plans by the 27th.
Okay,
Okay, so we look forward to seeing you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
okay.
Thanks.
Shane, thank you. He's gone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next application is 80 Revort Road, and Bill Spade is on.
Hi, good evening, everybody.
Hi, Bill.
Hopefully you see a aerial view here. And by the way, you've seen this project once before. We did some, added some roof overhangs around the house. We did a presentation about that previously. Now this one is about expanding the deck on the rear of the house to add a spa onto that, the new addition for the deck. I'll show you the house real quick. Here's the front of the house, typical for this neighborhood on Revort Road, ranch style houses. The deck we're expanding, you see a portion of it on the right side of the house. There's a walkway along that side for a sliding door there. This again is the right side of the house showing the existing deck extending to the rear. And then this is that existing deck across the rear of the house. We are expanding in this sort of inset corner, a new deck. It'll be 19 feet towards the rear from this face. This is about a 4-foot offset. It'll overlap here. So it's about 15 feet off of this portion of the deck, 26 feet left to right here and aligning with the sides. I'll show you the plan. Here's further to the rear showing the existing stairs. All of the existing deck will remain, and we're just enlarging off of that existing deck. Here's the site plan and the floor plan. If this is large enough, you can see the enlarged deck. Sorry, let me go down a little more. You see the existing deck at the bottom of the screen here with the enlarged area there. And then the spa will be in the center. The spa will sit on a lowered deck portion. The spa is about 3.5 feet tall. We're going to recess a support deck about 2 feet, and therefore the spa itself will project about 1.5 feet above the existing deck level. And we're maintaining that existing deck level all the way through the new deck. I'll show you the elevations. Here's the front and right side elevation. The front, there's no change. That existing deck remains. This is the portion of the existing deck that remains, including the stair to grade. Out beyond is this the proposed enlarged deck. You see the main deck level continuing out, and then this recessed deck. And the spa itself is what's dashed inside there. The new deck areas will have a cable railing with wood posts and wood cap. And then we have these little exposed about 1 foot tall panels that'll be wood lattice to screen that, that lower deck area. The rear elevation and left side, get this in the picture. So across the rear, this is that new deck on this side with the cable railing, and then obviously further back in the plane from here is the existing deck and stair that are remaining. using all the same materials otherwise as the existing deck, wood, 6x6 wood posts, 10-inch wood framing with wood fascias, all of that to match the existing deck style and colors. And then on the left side elevation, again, you see the portion of the existing deck to remain, and then the new deck being added on. For spa code, pool code reasons, we have to add gates at the bottom of the 2 stairs that are onto those existing decks. So you see these 4-foot high gates represented. Those have to have vertical spindles on them per the pool code. So those will be similar to the existing wood deck railing. And I had one more, there's some details, but I also wanted to show you, here's what the spa looks like. And again, we're recessing it, sorry, went a little high. We're recessing it essentially to this line in the panel so that from this portion down, it'll be recessed below the main deck, and then roughly 18 inches of it extending above that main deck level. And
It's going to cover the recess on the bottom, the extra.
say that again.
So the spa is being
Yes.
recessed. So what type of coverage below the deck is
Yeah, that's this lattice panels. So you
Oh,
see
okay. Yeah.
here, so all around that lower deck perimeter, we'll put in lattice panels between that deck surface and the underside of the main deck.
So I'm having a hard time envisioning the rails because you have 3 different elements. You have the vertical spindles, then you have the horizontal cables, and then you have this lattice. I guess it's for cost reasons that you're not doing the whole thing in cable.
Yeah, it's an extensive amount of railing at the moment. And so, yeah, they would have said that they would intend to change those railings to the cable rails. They would prefer that. But at the moment, for cost reasons, they just can't afford to do that.
Probably look nicer if they match what they have then. That would really save money and look consistent.
Yeah,
Well, they
but
probably
ha-
want the visibility.
Yeah, they want the greater visibility. So, but they do.
So that's why
intend-
you're integrating posts that are, is that what you said?
Yeah,
The
it'll be
posts
wood
between the-
posts with the cable rail. I'll go back to the photo. So from the sense of there are wood posts on the existing, so instead of vertical wood spindles, we'll have the cable rails. And obviously there's this sort of skirt board at the top of the rail that would not be there with the new cable rail, but the top cap would still be a wood cap. So in some sense, some similarity between the old and the new. But again, to the degree it helps to say it, their intention is to replace the old railing, and but just it's an extensive amount of railing, including down the stairways. So
Can you just outline on plan where the cable rail is? I mean, does it start and stop at a?
yeah, so here I can show you on this picture. So the new deck starts at this edge. So the cable rail will start from this corner.
Right.
The new deck face is in line with this face. So this will be cable rail out to the new corner, cable rail over, and it's about halfway across this existing deck. And then the cable rail will come back, at some point. I don't think it's right on a post. So we'll have to introduce a new post at this corner to also support the existing railing.
Can you just show it on plan?
Sure. Yeah. Sorry. I actually went the wrong way. Let me go. Let me get this a little smaller. Yeah, I usually have the plans first, and then thought it'd be better to see the. Okay. So you see here, here's the existing deck right dashed in. So starting at this corner would be the new cable rail out to here, across and back, and then onto the existing deck at this point.
You're going to do cable rail on that left-right bit of fence?
This
or
piece, no,
No,
Okay.
that's the existing.
So
that's
I
the
mean-
existing.
would they consider doing the cable rail on the right side all the way to the, just down to there, just down to that corner?
Yeah, down, this is like a 12-foot length.
Yeah, just all on the same plane, so at
I
least.
Even though when
I
they
don't think they'd
do
have an
do,
objection to that.
if they do ever go to full cable, they probably are not going to go wooden posts, right?
No, they like the wood post look.
Oh,
so
okay.
I would say that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But I actually, one of the owners might be on the call. Stephen, are you here?
I'm here.
Okay.
We wouldn't be
Stephen
opposed.
Zimmerman's here. Stephen,
Hello.
what would be your reaction if they asked that this section of the railing also be done in the new cable?
If that's what it's going to take for an approval, we would do it.
Oh, I'm looking at images with wood posts. It looks fine. Wood posts and cable.
Yeah.
Oh, but the top is not going to be wood, you said.
The top
top
cap
of the rail.
cable. No, it would be a top cap of wood. Yes.
Oh, it would be. Okay.
Yes. I can,
No, I'm looking at some images now.
yeah, I have one somewhere, but I probably wouldn't find it nearly as quickly as I'd like to think. So,
I mean, if you want to draw that in, I'm fine with it as just in case you never finish off the cable rail.
okay.
At least it makes some logical sense that that whole plane is cable rail.
Okay.
Wouldn't you have to put another gate at the other stairs also?
Yeah, both gates get stairs.
Okay.
It shows on-
You mean both? Okay, both stairs get gates?
Both, yes, you're exactly right.
Comments from other people, I'm okay if we can get to a logical point like the corner.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm good.
great.
Okay,
Okay, thank you very much.
Mhm.
Thank
will
you
you
very
draw
much.
that in and send that into Daisy? How are we doing that now, virtually?
You want me to draw something on here and email it to Daisy?
Yeah, because I mean, the old days you do it in front of us, but you can't do that.
Right. Now that's the new days, right? No, I'll if that's okay, I'll go offline. I'll email that to Daisy.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Okay, and I'll copy Tom. So
Please, thank you.
get it too. Okay.
And-
All right.
And just
Thank
out of
you.
curiosity, what is the timeline for that?
Oh, right away. So,
That's what I said.
Stephen,
Well, when
I'll send it to Daisy in 10 minutes, and then they'll have a record of it. And if I'm not speaking presumptively, we're getting our approval and
Yeah.
just
You're getting your approval now. I
Yes.
trust that Bill's going to send it to us in 15 minutes.
Terrific.
And
Thank
he
you very much.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Next application is 23 Mayberry Road.
Hi, Mike Messinger. I'm the architect. Let me get my camera on and turn the light on so you can actually see me. So 23 Mayberry is, this is let me share my screen. Sorry, here we are. So this is the house off of Seven Bridges Road, over sort of near Roaring Brook. The project includes an addition of a portico on the front of what is basically a Cape Cod that's had a couple of additions.
I'm sorry, can we start with site plans and photographs, please?
Sure. Sure, here's site plan. I can zoom in if you can see them. There's an existing, and I'll zoom in on existing. So here's existing. Main part of the house, Mayberry Road is here. It's a dead end that curves around to the left. Garage on driveway on this side with an existing walkway. There's a picket fence along here. This part is garage. This is, the main part of the house. There's a patio on the back with a little walkway here. This is a hill that slopes up very steeply. So that's kind of a narrow little spot there. And then there's an existing deck here on the, really what is the, I'll call it the north side. And the project is going to put a portico over the front stoop and basically add an enclosed screen porch more or less in the footprint of the existing deck. And if I pan over to proposed, you'll see the parts that are included. So here's the portico on the front. Here's the screen porch, the flat roof, and then they want to dress up the patio as well. Right now it's concrete, and we're just going to want to put like paving stones or something over it to dress it up a little. So that's why it looks like it's new, but it's really, it's pretty much all there. We'll change this little connection into the screen porch a little bit.
Do you have photos of the house and neighbors?
I do. So I'll pan around so you can see them. They're all on one sheet. So right here in the center, this is the existing house. This is the garage side, so that would be on the left up here. There's the hill that slopes back. This is where the screen porch will go. This is a deck that we're going to replace. So this would be the north side of the main house. And then here's the deck again. This is sort of the northwest corner. So our screen porch has got a flat roof and it will more or less cover where the deck is. Here's the existing patio, and the rest of the house, pretty much stays the same. Here are some of the neighbors. 31 is, they're actually arranged the way they exist in space. So 11 Mayberry is to the left of this house, 31 is to the right, and then 18 is across the street, and 26 and 22 are across the street to the left. 22 is way back here. That's actually the next neighbor over, but you can hardly see it from the road. So this is 26, which is actually 2 houses over. And then on the other side across the street to the right is 14 Mayberry. So, they're all similar. Some have been rebuilt a little bit. They're all 1950s sort of capes and raised ranch / colonial. And so the project, as I said, in the drawings, is to add a portico onto the front, which is, we'll rebuild the stoop a little bit, but the grading and everything stays the same. 2 posts, new front door. Right now, I think it's a single 3-foot wide door. So we'll make it a 3-foot door with a 1-foot side light on either side, and then an open portico.
Could
Go
you
ahead.
just blow that up a little, please?
Sure.
Okay, thanks.
And then just on the right side of the house will be a screen porch. Right now, the deck is actually a little bit higher. You can just see the dashed line in there. It shows where the floor level is. The existing deck is up at the floor level of the main house, and we're actually going to drop it down a little bit, which at the back side of the screen porch is closer to grade than it is on the front. So that means there'll be a couple of fewer steps on the back going up to the porch, and there will be an addition of a step. There are 2 sliding doors on the side of the house that goes currently onto the deck and will go into the screen porch.
So where does grade hit the screen porch?
On the back, or where the grade?
Yeah, and I see a line that's way below it. Where's grade?
Yeah, this is the line right here. That's grade.
So what are you going to be looking at underneath the screen porch?
We're going to put like some kind of a lattice work underneath. I think if I go back to the photo, in reality, I don't think it's not going to be quite as much as what's shown here, because there are bushes and stuff in front of it, and rocks and stuff. So it's a little hard to tell existing where it's going to be, but the intention was to kind of see. Right now, it's got this sort of like a vertical filler panel underneath, and it will either, I think we'd like to dress it up a little more than this, but basically fill it in somehow with a some kind of a lattice work.
You'll have to note that.
Fair enough. Sorry,
And you have
back-
other elevations of the screen porch?
I do. Yeah, here's the side.
Uh,
And then here's the back.
I'm good with it.
I am too.
I like it too. Nice presentation too.
Thank you.
I like it too. I do think you should note something covering the, below the grade, below the floor line.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's funny. I thought I actually had done that, but I agree with you that, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, nice.
All right, so we'll approve it on that condition, Tom? Tom here? Or Tom go?
Thomas here, yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, you're approved. Just please make that note and send it in to Daisy.
Absolutely. Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Nice
Thank
little,
you.
Thanks, everyone.
nice little addition.
Yep.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right.
You too.
I think that's it, right?
Yeah, looks like
Yeah.
it.
Is that it? We have anything tonight?
We're done.
All right. Good night.
Night.
Just a quick note,
Daisy is-
I'm going to be out, all of next week. So Lori is going to be emailing you the agenda. So far we have 2. I'm assuming all 4 today were approved conditional. So Tom, I'll send all the files in because I won't be in the office
I
tomorrow.
kind of
Friday.
want I think Campfire needs to come back.
Yeah.
Campfire needs to come back. Okay.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
didn't,
that's the roof.
Yeah, very.
Yes.
Campfire is coming back, yes.
The other 3 are conditional approvals.
So
And
who's gonna send the whippoorwill?
Well,
if
the
you're not
only
here?
one that we need to see the country club though.
I
I
will
I don't think,
forward
we
the
don't need to
information.
see this past one that we saw, that we just.
what about bills?
No.
No, I think
No.
we're fine.
No,
with
Bill's
that.
gonna send it to you. We're trusting you
It's
with that one
just the
thing.
whippoorwill.
And this
I
guy
think it's
also.
just
one thing.
whippoorwill.
Okay. All
So
right.
Tom, are you gonna email whippoorwill to the group?
I will do that, sir, yes.
All right. And everybody,
Okay.
please look at it as soon as you can and respond, just so.
okay.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night,
All
everyone.
right.
Good
Thanks,
night.
guys.
Stay cool, everybody.
All right,
Take care.
yep.